Hi, my name is Vicky Sammartino, and today I'm going to talk to you about life on other planets. This is not a new topic. This is something that I'm sure we've all thought of at one point or another. I'm not speaking of the typical alien-looking things, the things you see in movies, just life. What planets out there could sustain life? What types of life are able to survive in these environments? What might life on other planets mean to us? Would we be able to intermingle with these beings? Would there be hostility? Is it intelligent life? I hope to convince you one way or another that there is life on other planets. When people pose the question, is there life on other planets, everyone usually has a pretty firm opinion. However, what happens when we come to a common definition of what life is? Webster defines life as an organismic state characterized by capacity for metabolism, growth, reaction to stimuli, and reproduction. That's not necessarily a human, or that could be a plant, that could be just a little organism, it could be anything. Is this what most of us think of when we think of life on other planets? Probably not. You probably think of a typical looking alien, something like this. There are tons of movies that give us ideas of what aliens might look like. Of course, the movie Alien, where they are horrific creatures that stalk and attack the crew of a spaceship. Then there's Men in Black, where the aliens live among us and are not all bad. There's a few bad ones in the bunch, but that can be said of humans as well. Independence Day is one of my favorite movies, and they're evil in that movie as well, trying to take over the Earth. I'm not sure that's an accurate portrayal of what life on other planets is. We all remember E.T., just a lonely little alien trying to get home. Nothing malicious about him at all. Then there are the Coneheads, just a family trying to live amongst us on Earth until being called home. These movies are entertaining, funny, heartwarming, and scary, yet I don't think any of them are an accurate portrayal of what life on other planets is like. What planets could even sustain life? There's billions and billions of planets out there. If we have to choose, or if we have to figure out which ones can sustain life, the first one we think of is Mars. While there have been several missions to Mars and we have orbited Mars in the past, they have not actually found any life there. NASA suspects that there was microbial organisms there when there was water. They no longer see water on the planet. They suspect that there may be water below the surface, but the atmosphere is so thin that it evaporates immediately. Jupiter has 7 moons, 3 of which may be hospitable, especially the one called Europa, which is the 6th closest moon to Jupiter. It has an ocean, a thin shelf of ice, and the presence of oxidants, which makes NASA believes it could support life. Saturn also has a moon that might be hospitable. This one's called Encelade. Just because a planet is called hospitable does not necessarily mean there is life there yet. Just like on Earth, it has to start somewhere. Life on Earth started with simple compounds. Early on, Earth was abundant in simple compounds. Those compounds produced 3 major classes of biomolecules. This was all that was needed for the early forms of life to get their start. The biomolecules are nucleic acid, amino acids, and lipids. All life began from these biomolecules. It didn't happen overnight, obviously, but all the planets need are a hospitable environment and the ability to generate life with some simple compounds. I am 100% convinced that there is life on other planets. I don't necessarily think it's the life like we see in the movies, but I do believe that the life will be able to communicate at some point. I believe the beings will evolve to communicate once the life of them starts going and they start evolving. Scientists have found a new solar system with at least 3 planets near the size of Earth, and that could support life. They are calling it the Holy Grail for planet-hunting astronomers. They sit in a temperate zone that is perfect for flourishing alien life. They are also capable of having oceans, which also suggests life could flourish on one or more of these planets. Scientists are calling it TRAPPIST-1 and say that even if there isn't currently any life on these planets, it's very possible that it will develop there in the future. All in all, scientists are saying that there may be as many as 40 billion potential hospitable worlds sitting in just our galaxy. I know by this point you're asking, where's your proof? You're saying, Vicki, you have shown us 0 evidence of life on other planets. What I have done is plant the seed of possibility. Here comes the proof. In an article that was published on June 8th of this very year, Russian astronauts in the International Space Station have found living organisms. These organisms were collected from the dust on the outside of the space station windows. They're saying that these organisms resemble plankton or algae. Space scientists say that this confirms the years of speculation on whether or not there is life on other planets. They are saying that these organic particles are almost certainly tiny organisms that have come from space. The organism is said to have the typical shape of a living organism, probably an algae, with a silicone outer skeleton. Here's the organism that may begin the evolution of life in space. I know it isn't necessarily a super exciting alien-looking creature, but it is life. This algae type of life is just the beginning of life on other planets. Whether they already exist and we just haven't found them yet, or if they're just tiny organisms getting their start. Hopefully one day we will be able to communicate and learn from life on other planets. How do they do things? Are they managing to live peacefully amongst each other, which is something people on Earth have always struggled to do? I truly believe there is intelligent life on other planets, and I hope now you all do as well. Thank you.